21. You let it run around in your mind, but it's only in my head. Is that a crime? Because you ain't mad that it's fine. Feelings got you losing track of time. Bitterness lingering. What's next? It's the little things. Bitterness lingering. What's next? It's the little things.
What's up, guys? And welcome back to the Frontline Youth Podcast. This is one of your hosts, Elijah Tijero. I'm here with my co-host,
Elijah. We're back
yes, we are,
with another one for you.
with another one. A lot of y'all listening have probably just either you're on the last night or you're coming back from conference. I know. How was conference? It was pretty hype, wasn't it? I wasn't there. You were there. We're not going to talk about that too much.
Time. We're not going to talk about the
intricacies of time.
How manipulation.
As you begin to interact.
All right.
The voice is like, it's updated a little bit. I'm not sure
Has
what's
it?
happening. I don't know.
All right. Any housekeeping we got to take care of before we get into this topic?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me keep this house for y'all. Actually, should we save that for? Nah. Talk about it? No.
I don't know what you're talking about, Elijah, so I can't give you my input.
Well, thinking about the order in which these episodes will be released, it would be smarter to talk about it on the one that we were going to record out of order after this one.
Well, technically, we would have already talked about it, so we're just rehashing it now.
True. Are we cutting this out?
No.
All right. So we talked about it on the last one y'all heard, if you heard that blitz. But yo, these comments are just becoming sparse. I don't know
Sparse
what's
indeed.
happened to everyone, but all the views are still there. I mean, the views are popping on YouTube alone. That means all of you guys made the trip to as calls it YouTube land, to where you can comment right there all of your thoughts and opinions bro. I'm telling you, we talk a lot on here, but this is just our limited scope of opinions and whatnot. Everything else that you guys can think of that is just new and juicy and useful, the world will miss out on if you don't comment.
Yeah.
You are a part of this
If you're not
podcast.
commenting because you're scared of people reading your comment, look, bro, there is nothing you can say that's worse than the things we've said on this podcast.
Yeah.
Not a thing.
Okay. And if it gets too bad, make a burner account.
Yeah.
If you
Come
don't know
on
what
here,
that is, look it
Anonymous
up.
245.
Yup.
Make a new Google account.
I
and
hate this
start
episode, and I
put your
hate the
comments.
hosts.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you want us to know, DM us. Hey, that's me, by the way. Don't tell nobody.
We won't.
Yeah.
All right.
But
So,
yeah,
yes.
we want to hear from y'all. Don't be scared.
Please.
Don't think that your feedback is not wanted.
It's more than wanted.
It's needed.
I was gonna say it's wanted a lot. Needed is much better. Yes, it is necessary. Oh, all right, yeah.
In the world.
Hey,
All right.
man.
Now you've read the title. We're gonna get to the title later, but the title is called Perpetual Thought. It's a term we've come up with.
You know,
I didn't Google it, so if it exists already, they lied. Actually, that's wrong. The new one is this one. This is the real one.
Yep. It's just, the perfect combination of two dynamic words put together into a perfect phrase.
Yeah.
Perpetual thought.
Perpetual thought, indeed.
Thought that is continuously perpetuated within one's mind.
Okay.
So,
But our beginning kind of point revolving perpetual thought is lingering. Look, we're gonna get into this. We're not gonna lay it all out right at the beginning. Right now we're talking about lingering. What is lingering? What do we mean when we say lingering?
All right, so let me drop some context. All right. I got a mind. You got a mind.
This is news to me.
All right. I was going to hit the bomb, but it was too dramatic. I got a mind. You got a mind. The listener, you have a mind. If you're listening with like a listening party, all of y'all got minds, brains, thought chambers.
Generators.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, yeah.
You generate thoughts.
And I don't think a person's mind is ever truly empty. Whether you're focused or aware of the things that are in your head is a different story. But there's always something going on, whether it be as simple as, dang, it's cold in here, or I got an assignment due next week. I need to make sure I don't mess that up. Or what's some more, Isaiah?
Sometimes you'll be thinking, what does my hair look like, or something, and then you'll forget. You won't check. You just thought about it for a second. You're like, all right. Or you may think, some random, I don't know. Like, you might be thinking about looking down while you're walking. You're not really thinking about it, but you're like, the reason you're looking down at your feet while you're walking is either one, because you don't want to look at nobody, or two, because you live in one of them areas where geese roam free.
Yes. Shout out to right here where we are at, bro. These Canadian geese have taken over the planet.
They're global geese now.
Yeah. They're
Planetary geese.
Little green pellets of
Can go
doom.
All right.
All right. Anyway, but yeah, it could be something as fleeting as that. Like you're just left foot, right foot while you're walking, whatever. Or it could get a little bit more intense. You could be thinking about things that are that matter to you a little bit more. Mm-hmm. But I'm gonna take it to like the mid-level degree. We're not getting to the max yet. So like,
not yet.
I don't know. People are coming over soon. I've got to throw this house together. Got to clean everything up real quick. That's a real thought. Yep. That drives some action. You got to go do it. But once you go do it, you're good.
You're done.
That's
it's
it.
Over. You've done it.
You don't need to think about it anymore.
Everything you could have done, you did.
Right.
And now you're done thinking about it.
You got any others like that? They're important, but they're not like what we're talking about.
Maybe you're thinking about some homework you got to do. So it's on your mind. Maybe you're like sitting in church or something, or in a meeting, you're in service, whatever. But you're thinking about schoolwork, like, man, these hours are going on. And all this time I need to do my work. I should have done it yesterday. That's what you're thinking. Maybe
you're in some kind of meeting and it would be impolite to leave. And you're like, I have got to go to the bathroom. And it's just on your mind, like pressing you, like you're not even hearing them. They're just like, yeah, and I just.
And all you're thinking about is.
That's pretty good. I'm trying to create a scene
I
right
need to
here.
go.
I've got to go to the bathroom.
There was a mission for me. An objective to complete. And this mission is holding me. This meeting is holding me back.
But yeah, and once you go to the bathroom, thank goodness, you take care of your business. The business is taken care of. Now you can move on.
It's off your mind.
You can think about, okay, what was the meaning of that meeting I just had, or what am I gonna eat for lunch, or whatever.
No, you probably wouldn't be thinking about eating no more.
Maybe not. Depending on what kind of bathroom trip you had.
Depending on the state of that bathroom after you left.
Oh my God. See, come to the Fly Podcast where we talk about the real issues of life.
Look, we're just getting y'all warmed up before we start dropping.
Warmed up in the bathroom.
Depression on y'all. 'Cause, this episode's gonna get real interesting. Yeah, you might feel called out. Don't. Or do.
No.
I'm not gonna tell you how to live.
All those thoughts are good and well.
Maybe not
they're okay. But they're normal, run of the mill types of thoughts.
They're important enough.
Nothing to be worried about.
Yeah.
Really. Nothing that's like to be too focused on, because once those moments pass, they're over. You're not going to remember them further on in the course of life.
Right.
However, this particular episode of the 41 category is about something more particular. The type of thought that takes over your whole mind, your entire brain. Is the Vine Boom a little quiet?
No. The kind of thought that lingers. Oh, I know.
We should write literature. Are
It's
they canceling each other?
They are.
Yeah.
Just those. We've come full circle, though. We're finally talking about what we said we're going to talk about.
I hope y'all enjoyed all 10 minutes of that. Honestly, the intros are usually not that embellished. That was pretty okay. I think I liked it.
Okay. But yes, we're talking about lingering. And now you know what we're talking about. Lingering.
Now, what does the word lingering mean, Isaiah?
To linger means to stay in one place or to stay around for a period of time.
That's deep.
Lingering typically has to do with, let's say you spray, like you light a candle or something, and then you put the candle out. But the smell is still in the room because it's been burning for a while. So the smell is lingering. Yeah? Now, obviously, I'm sure you guys knew what the word linger meant, but if you didn't, now you do.
Now you know. And if you ever need a rhyme for finger or stinger or
And so when you attribute this word to your thoughts, you can see how this can become something of issue. Elijah, we're cutting you off. I'm sorry.
No, that was a good idea.
You got to go.
They weren't ready for the verse.
For the rhyme zone.
Yeah. All right. You don't need to let them in on my sources here. Now, some common reasons for these types of thoughts that linger, that
Stick around too long.
yeah, they just keep knocking on your
Overstay
mind.
their welcome.
And we're talking about something like involuntary. It's not like these thoughts are coming after you. They're on to you. Some common reasons for such occurrences, these thoughts. Now, some of them are just from the brain. Some of them are from these little articles I was looking at on Google.
Yes.
I did a very special search.
And when we state some of these, if we can think of anything, we'll try to give an example.
Boom. So the first one we got is unexpected words or actions observed from peers.
Okay.
If you don't have an anecdote or a hypothetical example, just try to explain what that means.
I'm trying to figure it out, low key. What throws me off is the from peers.
How do you mean?
So basically words spoken by a peer or actions done by a peer.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. So let's say you have a friend and gosh, Brownie.
Our wonderful puppy dog is snoring her mind away.
Yep.
So-
She's in La La Land. She ain't got no perpetual thought.
Nope.
She's in perpetual darkness.
She down there chasing squirrels in La La Land.
You know?
Hallelujah.
And rabbits. All right. Unexpected words or actions observed from a peer. Let's say you have a friend who
Let's go.
who has a party or something, like a birthday party.
Yeah. And you just have to go to the bathroom.
No.
Oh, my bad.
But when you ask them, hey, where's your party at? They kind of like shift a little bit. Now, first of all, it's really not that big a thing. They kind of like look a little weird, like to you. They look a little bit nervous or something, like, and that's it. And they're like, oh, it's at my house. Obviously it's on my birthday.
Right.
We start at 5. See you there. And you go home. But you're at home like, they don't want me to come. What was that? What was that movement? That little shift in their eyes. They don't want me to be their friend anymore. And now their birthday's a week later. You've been thinking for 7 days, 24 hours. They don't like me.
It's like you
I'm
doing
gonna
your
come to
laundry.
this party and they're gonna hate me.
Bro, for me, whenever I get these kind of thoughts, I'm usually folding clothes. Or that's how I picture it. I'll be folding clothes and it's like, because it's kind of a passive task.
I hate folding clothes.
It's all right.
It's a thing.
It's something you do when you got
Necessary
time.
evil.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll be folding clothes. You know what I'm saying? When you're folding clothes and these, like, let's say, you're thinking about your friend's party the whole time. I'm like, oh, yep, this shirt goes here. Man, why would he even look at me like that? All right, let me close this drawer. Like, does he not see me the same way as the other people at the party and whatnot? Or it could be on the opposite end. Maybe you are in a classroom and whoever's instructing is like, all right, everybody pick a partner. And you're like, dang, nobody's going to pick me. And so-and-so is going to go with so-and-so. And then somebody turns to you and you guys just work together. It's not some big dramatic thing. But maybe later on you're like, man, why did they immediately turn to me? Did they see something special? Did they like the color I was wearing? And whatever.
Goofy.
That's it for number one.
That's
Another
also,
one.
That's number 2 too.
Yeah, this one kind of blends in. This one was one of the ones from Google. It's paranoia.
Nice. Paranoia.
Paranormal activity. Paranoid. I really can't say paranoia. What what is happening? Paranoia revolving observed behaviors.
Gosh. Regarding.
No, I didn't like regarding. I'll be saying regarding too often. Revolving around observed behaviors.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
This kind of ties into the last one, but you just see a small thing and you wonder if it has a deeper meaning.
And you get paranoid. That's it.
I did not finish typing this next one, but I know what it was going to be, so I'll read it. Read it in quotations. Deeply felt connections to things that are portrayed in media or literature, or even in something someone might say. You got an example?
No. But
Dang.
I have, I guess. Okay. I don't know. I feel like this doesn't really count as lingering, but maybe you're too attached to something that you see, or to the words that you might subject yourself to on the internet or something, or you're too invested. So let's say like you're on Twitter or X or whatever. I'm not calling it X. Elon, you're not the boss of me.
Dang.
It's Twitter till I die.
Till I, yeah.
Anyway, you're on Twitter. First of all, if you're on Twitter, get off Twitter.
Got him.
Twitter is a terrible place. I gotta be honest.
A cesspool of evils.
Of evils, all kinds of evils. The only thing Twitter is good for is updates on like your school or like a project you're following or something like that. Other than that, nah. But anyway, let's say you're too invested in the words of others on Twitter. So you're on Twitter, you say something like, man, I really love Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola, first of all, we're not sponsored by Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is not paying us to say this.
But if they would like to.
Can we take it?
I don't think we have the means to even like.
I know, but then we're associated with Coca-Cola. Then we have to say, well, I mean, I like cocoa. I prefer it. Anyway, I love Coca-Cola, and I prefer it to Pepsi and Dr. Pepper.
Word.
Boom. Whatever. Opinion. The comments. Do you know that there was once a person who drank Coca-Cola who murdered a man? You agree with murderers, don't you? You don't mind murder. Now, what is this? Is that straw man or what?
It's foolishness.
It's some kind. Anyway, so then now, because you're so invested in what you said and what the words of other people, how they affect you, you're reading this and you're like, oh my gosh, I am. I'm in league with killers.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, no. But now this is a thought, some kind of attribute that lingers in your mind. Something else that we don't have written on here, so I just will mention
Drop it like a bomb.
I was about to hit that button. All right, like a bomb is don't do it.
All right.
Is does it anyway.
I just had a moment.
You're
All
a
right,
villain.
yeah, go ahead. Like
Is
a bomb.
kind of talking about like words spoken, but it's more like when someone can say that you have said attribute or something like that. Like, let's say their feelings are hurt or something like that. So they say, and you know what? You've always been spiteful or something like that. And then they leave and you never see him again. They go to New Mexico or something, or go to Taiwan. Who knows, bro? They go far away and you never see him again. But now, in your mind, because of whatever this person said, you're like, I'm a spiteful person. I'm spiteful. And you're like always, you're like soft spoken now. You're like, oh, I don't want to say too much because that's spite. You know, your landlord is knocking on your door saying, hey bro, I'm moving in. And you don't want to say, what? I signed a contract. I live here. Get out. No, that's spiteful.
Yeah.
So now, because of the word spoken to you how many years ago, whatever, that thought is lingering in your mind as a description of who you are as a person.
That's deep. I just thought of another one for deeply felt connections to things that you see in literature or media. If somebody's watching like a show or a movie, some drama, and one of the characters, maybe they're surrounded by people, but they feel super alone, or maybe even one of the plot points in the story is that it was all a simulation and they were all just being tested and nobody really saw them or loved them for who they were or whatever. If you're watching a show about somebody with suicidal ideologies or anything like that, then if you feel like you connect to the characters at all, you might start applying that to your real life. So then, like subconsciously, you'll be around other people and you're like, man, I'm just like Jonathan from this show I watched, just surrounded by people who I don't even know. Oh, my life is pointless.
It's all a simulation.
It's
for
all
real.
a scheme. Or whatever. And just because you related to that character, now
You're that character.
yeah.
You're a character in your own right.
Right.
Okay. Our next point here is memories of emotionally charged events. Now this one is I guess that's what I just talked about, the whole spiteful thing. But yeah, this is a big one, I would say, wherein you have some memory of some occurrence from long ago, you know, and it refuses to leave your mind. You're trapped. It's got you in a chokehold. Do you have any personal examples or anything like that?
I'm trying to think. I know there have been times where, like, there's something that I did or said that I have not thought about in years since doing or saying it. And then I'll see somebody do something similar and it reminds me of it. And I'm like,
painful flashback.
Yeah, I'm like, I did that? Like, or I said that? Like, why? Because I'm looking at this new person doing it like, oh my gosh, that was disgusting. How would they behave this way? And then I suddenly the memory comes to life and I'm like, dang. And it's just sitting there and you're just like, dang.
I don't know if that's lingering necessarily, but it's similar. But I feel like lingering, it's like that, but all the time. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just when you see someone doing it. It's a perpetual thought. I know what you're thinking. That's crazy.
No, but and I think from the example that we just gave, it could turn into that if like it involves some big moral question about yourself or something. Because then after that experience, you're questioning the quality of your own character. You're questioning all that you've learned over the years or whatever. And you're like, who even am I? And you just think about it all the time now. It's just always on your mind that you might possibly be a scoundrel.
A scallywag.
Yes. A nimwit. Maybe not a nimwit. That's kind of off course.
A criminal.
Yes, exactly. You might be a perpetrator.
Yeah, a ne'er-do-weller.
A thug.
Alrighty. Next. It's you.
Just things that leave you asking questions. But I think like what I just talked about is a good example of that.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe other things, like maybe I saw this online, like there's this whole phenomenon about people seeing people in airports,
Yeah.
and they think like they imagine where they're going, what they're doing, what their life is like or whatever, and there's some kind of curiosity attached to that. And then like even if the person's doing the most regular thing, you just imagine this whole crazy thing going on with them, and then you're like, man, what if my life should be like that? Maybe I should get out more. Maybe I should have more friends and smile more or whatever. So then this person that you don't even know is like living in your mind all the time, or just the concept of that freedom or the thrill of something that sparks a thrill in your mind, and then leaves you asking questions about like how you might alter your life to become more like that or something.
Mm. Facts. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to add.
Word.
Things that leave you asking questions. And then our final one here is infatuations. Is it I-N? It's not M. Infatuations with people. When you're infatuated. What does this mean? This means when you have some kind of interest in another person, whether that be just incredible admiration, obsession, or maybe romantic in some manner or whatever, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result, the lingering thought is a person. Maybe it's, what are they doing right now?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's, what are they thinking about? Is it me? Is it, what kind of thing? What, if I were doing this, what would this person do?
Yeah.
You know, or things like that. I tried to mix a few things in there.
Right.
But for the most part, it's when you like somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't going to, I didn't want to exclude it to only that, because there's more kinds of infatuation.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the main one.
I got an example of this
from,
no. Don't worry, it's fiction.
Oh.
But recently, I've just returned to a great read from like maybe the 8th grade or something.
Boom.
But it's not a bad book whatsoever. It's called Fever 1793. It's about the yellow fever. It's historical fiction. Everything's pretty accurate. But I'm walking through my mother's room to grab something, and I saw the book, and I was like, I gotta read this. So I grabbed that book, and I was reading it, and I just finished it today. But the main character is this teenage girl who's living with her mom, trying to help her run a business and everything. You should go read the book. I'm not gonna lie, it's a good read. I'd never been so invested in the story of a teenage girl in the 1700s before, almost 1800. But anyway,
Is she British?
nah,
Where does it take place?
Philadelphia,
Oh,
which
it's
at the
here?
time was the capital of
Dang.
the United States.
You know, Richmond. Anyway, I always talk about that. I always bring that up for no reason.
What?
That Richmond was the capital of the Confederacy back when that was a thing.
Confederacy!
Thank you.
sorry.
Anyway, yeah, I know that fact because I'm from Virginia.
Hey,
So, but that's all.
shout out to the listeners in Virginia.
Yeah, shout
lot
out
of
to
y'all
Virginia
picking up.
in general.
Seen one of y'all in the comments
It's
lately.
the best state. I know some of y'all in there like, what? No, it's not. You know, it's just an opinion that you have. You know, separate from the fact, which is that Virginia's the best. But you can have your opinion.
Okay. So anyway, there's this young man that lives or works across the street from her as an apprentice for this dude that paints stuff and keeps these animals and whatever. And she just likes this dude. He doesn't even really get much of an introduction in the story. Like by the beginning of the story, she had already had feelings for this guy, which was weird reading it because I'm just this straight dude having to read about how this teenage girl is thinking about this teenage dude. I'm like, all right, bro. But anyway, it's a good story. Read it. But she's walking through the market to buy some goodies, and he like is far away from her, whatever. and they make eye contact, and he smiles and waves. And then she's like, oh, yeah, there's my Nathaniel Benson. And she's just doing her business or whatever.
She's Nathaniel Benson. She about to kidnap him? Phenolphthalein.
Anyway, the chloroform towel over the face, the rag. Anyway, so she has a mom that's like driving her to do a bunch of work because she's an only child and they got no dad and they're just trying to make it work in this coffee house. So her mom is at the house like, yo, do this, do that, boil this, sweep this, pick these, water these. And she's just going and she's just doing. But she's like, yep, my hands got tied in the whatever. Nathaniel Benson. The bees were buzzing around my head. Nathaniel Benson. Like, she's doing all her business and she just can't get this dude off her mind because he smiled at her.
Aw.
That brother got W Riz. He's the Wizard of Oz. Anyway.
The
That was-
businessman.
Yes, sir. That was for our younger listeners.
Oh my god.
We will refrain. We will probably not refrain. But anyway, that was a long tangent about this book that you should read. But yeah. And so no matter what she was doing, she could not get this dude off of her mind because she likes him. She's imagining a future with him.
Yeah.
And you know what? I was right there with her. Pause.
Now.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Sorry, all right. Some of you listening are probably thinking, that's sweet. That's cool. Now, maybe, in moderation, perhaps, obviously you can't like someone without thinking about them. That would be weird. However,
I've chosen this one. We shall reconvene in the future.
I will think about you upon the day of our wedding.
Upon the day of our marriage.
Until then, stay away from my mind.
Oh my god.
But I was listening to this podcast a while back. It's called the Saved Not Soft podcast. I don't remember the host's name. But anyway,
Dang,
she has
what a
this
hater.
episode talking about fantasies or whatever, where you can have a innocent thought or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You think about Nathaniel Benson, was
Nathaniel Benson.
Nathaniel.
All right.
So anyway,
You pick me
you're
up.
going about your business.
Or Natasha Benson.
You do, yeah, or Natasha.
Depending.
You doing your homework? Mr. or Mrs. Benson.
Thank you. Uh-huh.
You're doing your schoolwork. You're reading a book. Benson. Whatever they want.
Yeah.
And that's fine, I guess. You like them, sure. But then once you start hitting up them, man, how many kids will we have? Dang.
Them thoughts right there.
Probably about 30.
What? You better be buying them off the black market.
Oh my God, you could adopt them.
Oh, I mean, well, yeah. But if
You
there's
buy them to save them.
exactly. Yeah, if there's
and human
kids
trafficking.
available to buy on the black market, you better save them out of those circles.
Rescue those kids. You ever
Maybe don't buy them, bro. Somebody gonna come after you.
Have you ever seen that skit of that guy, $1 to save a child? And they're like, no, what? I don't want to give you $1. And he's like, all right. He's like, he opens up his van and says, get back in there. And he has like 40 kids. And then the dude's like, oh my, take it. And he
gosh.
gives him $40. All the kids run out.
That is terrible.
Anyway.
Okay.
Anyway.
That's a quick way to make some money. Especially if you got 30 kids. Hey now.
So back to the fantasy.
Right.
Man, we probably have 30 kids.
Dang.
Where are we going to get married? Oh, we should get married in Bermuda. Bermuda's just a staple on this podcast at this point. Let's get married in Bermuda. Man, I don't know.
Bermuda.
But when should we get married? Do I want to have a summer anniversary or maybe like a winter
That is
anniversary?
so special.
And you thinking all these things, This person does not know you. At that point, you are lingering and you need to stop.
Yeah.
Check out that podcast, by the way. It's pretty cool.
Saved, not soft.
Yeah.
I have not checked it out myself. This is my first time hearing about it, but maybe I will. Maybe I won't. Y'all don't know.
You never know.
Y'all don't know my life. Y'all don't know. All right. But yeah, there's that. Now, to turn over to the dark side. A little bit.
Are we talking to... Okay, I'm going to let you take over.
So, some of these things that we talked about are a little dainty.
Dainty.
I think we should actually stay on the dainty side for like 5 more seconds. Because although we listed the things, we didn't talk very much about their possible effects.
All right.
So, a little bit less dainty because it's not just like, oh, well, you know, that's nice. Oh, those are nice little feelings to have. Why could it become problematic or dangerous?
Dangerous.
I have no button, but why would it become that?
You just used Tamaya's.
that thing's terrible. Shout out to my episode 37 listeners. I knew that. Anyway,
she hit it crazy too. It was,
but why can these thoughts ever be bad?
okay.
Like it was in the intro song. If it's just in your head, is it such a crime?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Don't listen to the intro songs too hard, y'all.
It's too hard to listen to, or it's too good.
No, I'm saying like don't listen too hard to them.
Oh.
Because if it's not making sense,
It makes,
shut up.
Look, them songs is fire.
Yeah.
Low key, bro. They might be better than the episode. Nah. I mean, maybe. What do y'all think? Anyway.
We'll never know.
Because
y'all are not commenting.
Comments,
all right?
All right. Sorry.
My bad.
Had to
Fit of
get that
rage.
off my chest.
Yeah.
What are some issues with the lingering? All right. Let's go back to our first example where you have your friend who shrugged or did something slightly weird when they told you where the party was.
Mm-hmm.
And you're thinking about it for 7 days straight, like acting weird. So their birthday comes around.
Hallelujah.
And because you're like, oh, they didn't want me, you don't go.
Oh.
Now, then they call you. Hey, my party started about an hour ago. Where are you? Oh, you actually do want me to come? I thought you didn't want to see me. And now
Y'all did not see this move. I say it just hit, bro. I could not let that slide. He said, y'all just didn't want to see me. This dude looked down and like, I don't even know how to describe it, bro. He kind of like snaked down into the chair in melancholy depression. Anyway, go ahead. Keep going. I just needed them to visualize that. Melancholy.
So now your relationship with this friend is strained because now you have made things weird where you misconstrued something that didn't even happen. Mm-hmm. And now this person might be looking at you and thinking, oh, man.
Oh, man. Why didn't they come to my party?
No, more like this person is extremely sensitive.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can be friends with someone like this. And now you lost your friend.
Dang, and then it confirms your own suspicion.
And you're like, man, they didn't want to be friends with me. And now, because of the lingering thought that you let take over your mind, what you thought was their plan to end the friendship ended up being your actions. You ended the friendship by being weird.
That's deep.
I got to scroll back up here so we can see our topics. Deeply felt connections to, there's the Twitter stuff.
Yeah.
Now this I've seen in real life. It's and we're getting into that heavy stuff.
Talk about it.
The heavy stuff, like actually.
Oh, word.
So, I remember there was this person who was posting her art online or something like that, and she had a whole art page, whatever. But a bunch of people were like, I guess they didn't like her art, so they're like, "This art sucks."
Haters.
Whack art. Yeah, haters, pretty much. But she's reading these things, and she's letting it permeate her mind because she wants to be an artist. Mm-hmm. But everyone's saying, well, pack it up. No art for you.
Dang.
This is not your future. dang, unrelease this fire emoji.
Thank you. Nobody in the chat is gonna get that.
The chat.
In the receiving end of this.
Right. Okay.
Commentary.
All right. Let's get these smiles off our faces because that was funny what we just said, but what I'm about to say is not funny. As a result of the negativity that she was receiving about what she wanted to do as her career, unfortunately, trigger warning, I gotta do that. It's the 21st century. She took her own life.
That is worst case scenario.
Worst case scenario.
I heard you start the subject and I was like, nah, it's not gonna be that.
Yeah.
That sucks.
And not now, don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that she had a lingering thought. She let their negativity linger in her mind, so it's her fault. No. I'm not saying that she caused herself to. Basically, what I'm saying is that it can be incredibly dangerous. That would be the time for the button, but we don't have it. To let the opinions of others, the words spoken from other people, linger long enough to become who you identify yourself as, or long enough to speak to who you are, what you're capable of, when in reality it's God who made you who you are and who gave you value.
Right. So as I was on my way to mentioning that too, because sometimes, like you were saying, she has those thoughts or had those thoughts in that scenario after what those people said, and it's not good to keep those thoughts because they can have dangerous effects, but it's not necessarily easy to remove yourself from them.
Yeah.
And so even if you're aware, like, man, these thoughts are all negative, they're just dragging me down, maybe I'm just being pessimistic or something, if you don't see any other option, then it just has to continue to be your reality. And so some people don't know Jesus, and that's a problem, and for multiple reasons. But that's one of them, is that you know, God is never not there. You can never not pray.
Yeah.
There's no time where you'll pray and God will be like, huh? Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. That wasn't my office hours. You know what I'm saying? Whereas that won't be the case with literally anything else, no matter how hard somebody might try. They're just not omnipresent. So if you're going through a difficult time and got nobody to turn to, you just might have nobody to turn to, and that's hard.
But there's always someone to turn to.
Facts.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Just had to wait a moment because now we're going back into regular Fly podcast shenanigans.
Hallelujah.
So I wanted to wait to separate the serious from right now. All right.
With respect.
Yes.
I feel you.
Now, memories of emotionally charged events. That might be similar. Okay, so this one I feel like it can lean over into something else. So I'm gonna come back to this one.
Word.
When we get into our branch.
I see.
Yeah. Things that leave you asking questions. Sometimes I'm gonna just answer this the easy way. If you're asking a bunch of questions, odds are you're gonna start answering them questions, and then you're gonna be wrong. So
yeah.
if you're like, man, what do they think about this? They probably. So what do they think about? Insert important question to you here. Let's say I don't want to bring up. So instead of talking about things like politics and racism or anything like that, let's just bring up something opinionated like pineapple on pizza.
Word.
What do they think about pineapple on pizza? I noticed that they didn't eat any at the party or something like that. And now it's lingering in your mind. Now, replace this with something that's actual, something serious in your mind, because obviously I doubt you would be lingering on pineapple pizza. But this is just to keep things light at the moment. And you go home and you're like, they didn't eat it. In fact, now that I think about it, have I ever seen them eat pineapple pizza? Pineapples on pizza? Ham and pineapple's good. They don't like it. They definitely don't like it. I know for a fact. Now, you let that thought linger in your mind, that question that really is not that important. And now you formed an opinion of somebody else based on some guesses and assumptions.
Dang.
And that's bad.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, with pineapple pizza, it's whatever. It doesn't make that big a deal. But this can translate way deeper, way further. Oh, they didn't want to come to the fellowship. They not saved.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy things like that. So,
Very true.
Don't let questions linger in your mind either if they're unproductive.
Another thing, I know when we went through this the first time, I was talking about that airport thing where you just see people that you don't really know and you have curiosities about them and their lifestyle, not necessarily about them, but like their archetype and what that could mean for you. I think that can be dangerous because
dangerous.
I'm sure this is not an uncommon thing. I'm not married, and I don't have a example of somebody that I'm thinking of when I say this, but I'm sure it's a thing where somebody will be in a marriage and they'll see some stranger, maybe that's single or who is dating around or is doing something that doesn't involve their commitment of being married, and then you start like, even though you don't know them, you don't know what their life is like, you see them the one time and you just imagine what your life would be like, and you in your mind you're just like seeking a thrill of living that life. If you let that thought sit in your mind too long, you're gonna start looking at your spouse like, this person's just holding me back from
the old ball and chain.
Right. Exactly. And my prison cell is with you. And meanwhile, this person that's walking by has no idea that you have ever started this course of thought or action, and you are about to ruin your lifetime commitment that could have been something beautiful because
Probably was something beautiful, honestly.
yeah.
But you can't. You're lingering on. What if I was out there running around in Vegas? Go back to the last episode, 39.
Hey.
That's trash. I gotta be honest, bro. That's bum behavior.
Yep.
All right. Our final one, infatuations with people. This one is simple. You have all these thoughts. Remember we talked about, 30 kids, a winter or summer. I'm telling you, I feel like people actually be thinking that, like, man, do I want to have our anniversary in the summer?
I've never wondered about that.
Yeah. What would your answer be if you could pick? I mean, you can pick.
Winter or summer
It's winter, bro, for me, 100%.
anniversary.
Oh, but then if it's in the summer, you can, like, go somewhere warm. Oh, but no, that could be winter too. It's cold.
Yeah.
You take a trip to Bermuda.
Oh my gosh.
It's got to be Bermuda. Nowhere else.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't even know what I would do for anniversaries, bro.
It's true. Like, go out to eat.
Like,
That's what our parents do. But they kind of just do that to get away from us.
dang, they're horrid children.
No. And obviously
We're
to
not
spend
horrid.
time with one another.
That's what I'm like.
That's really it though. That's all you got to do.
Not to boast on the parentals, but they just be enjoying each other as people on any given occasion.
Yeah.
So honestly, the anniversary is just an excuse to pick that certain day to go do something.
It's a remembrance of your wedding or whatever. But
Right.
honestly, every day is just a day. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Hallelujah.
So yeah, the point of an anniversary, the most important thing you could do is just spend time with each other. You know what I mean? And sometimes if you get too wrapped up in blah-de-blue, my work, my job, my this, my that, then it's like, let's take this time. This is our anniversary. Let's go out and let's just enjoy each other's company. Nothing.
Dang.
What's going on with work? Nope. It's anniversary time, baby. That's
Right.
all they talking about. Anyway,
Quick sidebar based on this.
sure.
I was talking with our mother earlier. I don't know how we got into this conversation. This conversation started with the book Fever 1793. If you forgot about it, write it down. Go read it. Good book. Anyway, we were talking about like just different types of relationships and stuff and people being married and whatnot. And we were talking about the difference between people who are like in boyfriend-girlfriend relationships, and they're supposed to go for like some indefinite period of time, and we'll just see where it goes. And if it stays, it stays. If it ends, it ends. You know, we go our separate ways, no hard feelings. That's never the way it happens. But
no hard feelings. Yeah, right.
Anyway, or
lingering. Sorry.
The difference between that and being married a lot of times is that in these indefinite relationships, every interaction, since they're not like necessarily a part of each other's lives besides the romantic aspect, it's like every time they get together, there's this huge pressure to do something dramatic, romantic, and to force yourself to make some kind of memory. Like if me and her hang out, it has to be on the beach or at the movies, or if we're doing something regular together, I just have to say all these flowery things like all the time or whatever. Whereas like when you're married, obviously you still do need to, you know, think about it, be thoughtful, put in effort as far as doing romantic things, let you know you guys are you guys to each other. It's like you get to
be real.
Yes, you get to live and be yourself.
Now, I have another sidebar before we get back to the main point that we're trying to make here. Mm-hmm. But in this current state of the world, people will be pretty much married in life. Yeah, they're dating. They've been dating for 30 years. They live together.
Yeah,
they pay each other. They're paying the same bills. They're doing this. They're on the same phone plan. Pay the rent. They got kids, but they're not married.
Why?
What's the point?
I heard this one dude. Oh, were you getting somewhere? Were you continuing?
That was it.
So I heard this one dude on that subject. He was talking about how, you know, I just feel like our society is kind of aging out of marriage because, and this is a dude in like his young 20s, but
like me.
Hey, I just had to throw in my Kanye West ad lib, my Kanye East ad lib.
Thank you.
Anyway, if you know, you know. I hope you don't. Anyway,
as do I.
So anyway, he's like, well, and it's not that people always try to say that just because I don't think marriage is a necessary thing or something that I plan to do, that I don't believe in long-term relationships or I don't believe in commitment and love. Like, that's just not true at all. So, you know, because maybe I meet somebody and, you know, we have a really good bond, good chemistry, and we just, you know, build a life together for like 20 years down the road. And then, you know, once it gets to that point, sometimes maybe if we have our differences, you know, you can just go your separate ways. And then, you know, it's not like a big deal where you have to have these issues with money. And this dude thought he had it all figured out. I'm like, you're contradicting what you just said.
You build a life together. You have a relationship. You love one another. You guys have become part of each other. And then you have your differences.
Bro.
And you can leave with no hard feelings.
That's like saying, I love to climb mountains with no gear because there's always just that sweet, sweet possibility of falling all the way down and then starting from the beginning if you survive. No hard feelings or anything, you know? It's just, I love it. Like, bro.
What is the purpose?
That was probably a bad comparison, but it makes just as much sense.
That waste of time.
Imagine 20 years in one person, and the whole time you're thinking about, yeah, and you know, maybe one day we'll split up and find other people. And
like, if that's running through your mind, break up
now, or get it right, bro.
Get it right. Get married and fix it, dog. If you're thinking about that and you're married, go get some pastoral counseling or some counseling in general.
Fact.
Go ask for some assistance. Talk with your spouse.
Fact.
Maybe you don't do that enough, and that's why.
We just got back into the lingering, bro. Think about this. If you're having these weird thoughts with your spouse and stuff, a lot of times people can become so absorbed in these thoughts that are always on them, especially if they're multiple things that bring it up. Like maybe there's one thing you don't like that your spouse does or recently has picked up doing, and instead of ever talking about it, you just let it sit in your mind, and then it builds up, and all of a sudden, I don't like the way she talks. I don't like the way she blinks. I don't like the way, and everything is like that, and you're like, yep, I'm gonna break up, I'm gonna divorce with her, and you're not thinking about your kids, you're not thinking about
this life you've built, the love you've had,
exactly.
Every good moment, which is the majority of the time, I'm sure.
Right. And on a way lesser scale, I do this all the time, where there will be some kind of negative experience of some kind of negative experience of some kind.
Where there's some kind of some.
Yes, yeah. And you know, the some. Anyway.
Thank you.
Where you have a Nebuchadnezzar, you have a negative experience.
All right.
And it puts this filter in your mind where you're expecting future experiences to be the same or similar in nature with certain people or whatever, and you'll just dread it, and you'll just and then if you get lucky and you pull yourself out of it, you can have a great time because whatever this person did was like accidental or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But if you don't pull yourself out of it, you can't have a good time. We talked about this in another episode where I don't remember which episode it was, but you might plan for your week to be trash because of some kind of thing you took as an indicator or a sign, and you just, man, I just have to get through it to the weekend, and you just never look up from the ground and live your whole week like trash because you're lingering on the thought that it's going to be trash, and you never experience what it could have been because you're a hater. Don't ruin everything by entertaining negative thoughts that don't do anything for you.
Yeah. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that kind of thinking, but you can hear about them in our positivity episode. Be positive.
Hey. Not the blood type.
Thank you. And yeah, okay. Back to our original topic. Or I mean, we're still on the original topic. Back to the original point is when you have infatuations with people and you have these thoughts of your future with them or whatever, and you've thought super duper extra mega far ahead. Now that I'm saying it, I have two ways this can go badly. One way is that let's say this person that you're infatuated with starts dating someone else.
Oh Lord! Oh, please help me, Lord!
Because I knew it.
I had to bring the
and they got somebody else. You're looking on and wondering, why don't they love me? Why don't they want me?
Oh Lord!
Your life should have been mine. Woo! We should have been together.
Turn this thing off. How many subscribers did we just lose?
All of them. They're all gone.
Now that it's just you and I. That was great. Go ahead,
anyway, so then you've lingered long enough to where now you have built this connection with them all by yourself.
Uh-huh.
And so then when they go and do what they could perfectly, whatever they want to do, which is go date somebody else.
Live their life.
You feel cheated on. How does this make sense? It's because you've lingered this thought in your brain for so long that now you've made it something that it's not.
Had to drop the bomb on that one. That was not even a joke. It was just...
That's real. That's a bomb dropper.
It's a bomb dropper.
All right. Another way that your obsession with this
person
just
keep coming out
can be bad is, let's say they take notice of you.
Okay, I hear you.
And for the purpose of this example, they ain't saved.
Okay, I hear you times two. They are not saved.
Or if they're not, maybe okay. I'm gonna just say they have some struggles.
Okay, they are.
So what are these struggles? We'll get to it. So they come up to you, whether you're a boy or a girl, whoever is listening, a man or a woman. Sorry, not trying to age y'all down. And they're like, hey. And it's all over. Because you had all these dang thoughts. It's like, it's time. The future's happening. It's happening. It's really here. It is.
They said, "Hey, I knew it. My prayers have been answered."
But then, they, because of these thoughts, you have this idea of what the future will hold, and they have an idea of what they want from you in this relationship. So they're willing to start a relationship with you.
Okay.
They have not thought about anything in the future. They're not thinking about, in fact, why I wanted the issues that they have, or if they're not saved.
Yeah.
The example I'm trying to bring up is that at this point, they're looking for something purely physical from you.
Oh Lord.
Oh Lord, indeed. But you can't see past your veneer. You're like, you won't even notice that that's all they are really with you for, because you're like, but what about our future? What about our wedding in Bermuda?
Right.
You made
in the
it
winter
up.
or summer.
In the winter or summer, yes.
Maybe both.
You have you let that thought linger in your mind long enough for it to become real to you, where you'll let this person treat you however, do whatever, use you essentially, because you have this fake dream of whatever the future holds.
That is super deep.
And that's your lingering. All right.
Careful where your mind goes.
Yeah. That was it on that one.
Now, to get into the dark side for real this time.
I think they're both dark sides, honestly.
The darkest side of them all.
All right, time to get to the other side. All right, so now
right.
to explain the title.
Mm-hmm.
Our title is called Perpetual Thought.
Right.
And the reason why we called it Perpetual Thought, but we've been talking about lingering this whole time, is because we noticed that lingering and bitterness, we'll explain bitterness for those of you who don't have a grasp on what that means in a second, are pretty similar, but not necessarily the same. They're both allowing thoughts to be in your mind all the time, but your response or the way that it affects you is not the same. So we had to split it up, but they're both perpetual thought. But bitterness is a bit different from lingering.
Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that for real.
I feel like some of the people, before we get there, because we're a little bit in.
We're a lot of bit in.
Yeah. Some of the people who are listening to this episode were like throwing a fit, like, bro, when are they going to talk about bitterness? How could you do this whole subject and not touch on bitterness? And they had to do something else or whatever, and
or
they're
they're
clicked
like,
off by now.
don't you guys are just talking about bitterness. What is this whole lingering you're talking about? No.
We get there. We're getting there. Here we are.
Yeah.
So what is bitterness exactly?
You asking me?
I'm asking you, cuz.
Darn it.
Dagnabbit.
Gosh darn it.
Blasted.
Give us one second for Google.
Oh,
for
yeah,
accuracy.
I'm gonna give you the but it's gonna bring up flavor.
Yup.
Oh no, it didn't. All right, nice. Bitterness, as defined by what dictionary is this? Oxford. Anger and disappointment at being treated unfairly. Resentment. Okay.
Example. He expressed bitterness over his dismissal without notice.
Yeah. Now, the reason why I feel like this is different from lingering is exactly that. The anger being the main one, and disappointment, like lingering resentment. You know what I mean? Lingering can be okay. The way I see it, the lingering is letting a thought stay in your mind too long, overstaying its welcome. So the one that we just talked about, where you have this lingering, this infatuation with Nathaniel Benson,
Nathaniel Benson.
or my boy Josh Danke.
Josh Danke. Yo.
Josh Danke, bro.
Hey.
I might look, bro. 30.
Huh? He survived 11 flights of stairs. That's a man right there.
He's strong. Ooh. Bermuda time.
Oh my gosh.
Bandit life.
Please get back to what you were saying.
So going back to that, your infatuation problem.
Nathaniel Benson.
You're not necessarily resentful of anything going on there. You've let this thought sit in your mind forever. However, what it isn't is an anger or a disappointment.
Okay.
So I feel like that's what separates it. Even going to the to when Elijah was talking about your relationship with your spouse, and you're thinking about all these things, like, man, what would the single life be like? What
It sucks.
What is holding
Just playing with
what
you.
is holding me back right now? You're not necessarily bitter at your wife or your husband, like, this spouse of mine is
right. It's just more like wondering.
You're wondering to yourself all these things that in the end might lead to you being bitter with your spouse for being your spouse, which is crazy on its own right. But like I said before, there is an example that we didn't say, we left out because I feel it's more in line with bitterness. So let's say memories of emotionally charged events. So let's say someone in your past did something to you. An offense had occurred, as people love to say in these spiritual contexts. They did you dirty, as we like to say on the Fly Podcast.
The Fly Podcast can't be a spiritual context.
It is. It's the same. But, we have a whole episode on that, the Christianese episode. I think that's 3.
Yeah. Go check that out.
Check it out.
If you're curious. If you got curious just now, go check it out whenever you got the time. If you're on YouTube, you can go to, there's like a save to watch later.
Yeah.
And it doesn't bother you. You could just go check that list whenever.
You know what else you can do on YouTube? Change the speed. You can watch it at 2 times speed half the time.
Yup.
Episode gets shorter. That's why I listen to our podcast on 2 times speed. Sometimes it's funnier that way.
Sometimes it's terrible that way.
Sometimes it's worse that way.
Sometimes it's terrible either way.
Gotta be honest.
Hey. If you're listening on other platforms, they have that as well. Maybe you're on Spotify. You can make a playlist of it won't hurt you to make a playlist to listen for later.
Yeah. But yeah. So
episode 3.
I remember we actually had, continuing on in this tangent, we had someone suggest an episode topic. They wanted us to do an episode revolving mind battles.
Yeah.
And if I'm honest, we've probably done a few episodes on what would come under the umbrella of mind battles, but none of them are titled mind battles.
This one's kind of close.
Right.
As
like
well.
This might be a mind battle, but I don't know. I just don't call them that.
But shout out to you if you're listening to this episode and you were the one who left that on Spotify. That is evidence. We are checking. That was on episode 2.
Yeah.
We are checking all the time.
All the time.
Your comments are not worthless. They are vigilantly checked.
Yes. We are always trying to see, what are you guys saying? And then if we don't remember what you said and we already read it, we'll go back. What did they say? What was that?
Right. And don't worry about how full the comment section is or whatever. Because first of all, it's usually never full. Right. I don't think it's ever been full because it doesn't get full.
It can't get full. There's no limit.
I don't think we've had ever more than like 10 comments.
Maybe, yeah.
Or at least more than 10 20. Commenters. So
true.
And you will be found among the masses if you have something to say. So say it, man.
And don't be scared to be found either, please.
And if you are, there are options for that, bro. You could go on there and say disrespectful things about the podcast on a burner account if you want to.
Yeah.
But it's a comment, though.
Make your burner. Anonymous 245 645. All right. AR. All right.
All right.
So sorry, y'all. All right. Somebody offends you in some way in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you have this memory of this emotionally charged event. So what's an offense that's light? No, bump light. Maybe just do something crazy.
All right. Nah, this would be too crazy.
Okay, not that crazy.
Not that crazy, yeah. So
they smack you. Yep.
That's lame though.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Maybe it is. You're in an argument with someone that you're close to. Not a family member, because you get smacked by your family members all the time and you can't really be mad at them. I mean, you can, but like getting smacked by my brother or my mom or my dad or my grandma or my aunt or my cousin or my uncle or my great aunt or my sister
or my niece or my nephew or my grandson.
I'm really not going to be too mad at that. You can smack me. That's just what we do.
Questionable.
Questionable, yes. I know some people don't have super great relations with their family, and for that, I'll be sensitive to that. Obviously, I don't have that problem, but I do understand the problem. But when it's someone that you have chosen to be close to, I feel like in that instance, it can be a lot easier for those relationships to be severed because with your family, they're going to be your family regardless. But with your friends, it'd be like, hey, bro, we're not friends anymore.
If you stop hanging out,
speak
then
to
your
me no
ties are
longer.
cut.
Yeah, exactly.
If you delete the pictures out your phone, then the ties are cut.
Yeah, they're not related to you. There's no connection to you inherently. So a friend, you get in an argument, and this friend, I mean, backhand, boom!
For what reason?
Why did they smack you?
Yes.
Because they were mad.
Okay.
Mad. You're arguing. You say something that's like,
well, maybe you should have never applied for the position anyway.
yeah.
Smacked.
Oh. Hit that anime. I can't believe it.
Thank you.
Not only did they smack me, they used the back of their hand.
Why is this happening?
A form of disrespect. So yeah, they disrespectfully backhanded you.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Days go by. Just days. And they say, and you see them, you avoid them. I don't want to see that person right now. We were having a argument, but I wouldn't have never put hands on them. Yeah, we can talk, we can hash it out, but why did you hit me? They shouldn't have hit you. I know some of you are like, what? They hit me. I get that. You are validated in that. They shouldn't have hit you. But now you're harboring unforgiveness in your heart. But it's only been a few days. You get a few days. You still mad about it 2 days later. That makes sense. They backhanded you. I would still be upset as well.
Interesting.
Let's say you go off to college now.
Okay.
That's what your argument was about or something like that. You can't just go to college. Long distance friendships don't work.
They smack you immediately.
No. Anyway, so you go off to college. You go for a semester. It's like 6 months. You come back. You see them, and they're like, hey, man. I remember the last time we talked, it was pretty bad. You know, I shouldn't have smacked you. That was immature of me. And I'm sorry. But in your mind, you're still mad. It's been 6 months, but you're still pressed. Now, this can go 2 ways, 3 ways. 1, the good way. You accept their apology and you enact forgiveness. That's the good thing.
Best case scenario.
Best case scenario. 2, you say, no, I don't care that you're sorry. You still hit me.
I don't care that you broke your elbow.
Thank you. And you walk away still upset, not willing to forgive. 3rd, you see an opportunity for a get back. You backhand.
Yep. I'm talking, you take your right foot, step behind your left for the ultra pivot. You tighten your core
That's
and
so
extend
weird. You're
your
trying
arm
to backhand with your left hand.
Nah, like I did say that, didn't I?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then you just tighten your core and extend your arm at max velocity across their
try
face.
to smack their cheek off their face.
You hit them with the about face
and then you walk
to the
away.
face.
Now, you have allowed your bitterness, because that's what it is, bitterness at this point, resentment and anger, to allow you to act, first of all, in a way that, with the first bad example, in a way that's unforgiving. So you're I don't know, you're treating them harshly. You won't let them apologize. And now you might be having them live with guilt when they're trying to apologize, but they won't get any closure because you can't forgive them. So they're living unforgiven, which sucks. That's, when you're living unforgiven from Jesus, you're going to hell. So if you're living unforgiven from you, you're not going to hell, but it's probably not good.
Yeah.
Or 2, you have stooped. No, you have repaid evil with evil and smacked
Evil
them back
Knievel.
with the most vicious backhand, like Serena Williams playing tennis. Going dumb, going crazy.
Yeah.
In both of these scenarios, you have allowed bitterness to affect your actions and your mind in a way that is not pleasing to the Lord.
That's deep.
And that's real.
And it doesn't even have to be the same person.
You're right.
What's the guy's name in the Greek labyrinth? The designer of it, who's Icarus's dad. Daedrus.
Dangerous? No.
Danger. All right.
It might be dangerous.
My boy D, right?
Yeah, I was gonna call him Dionysius, but
that's the wine dude. Yeah. So D, right? We're gonna abbreviate this Greek mythological character who designed all these intricate things. We're looking it up. He spelled it
Daedalus.
Daedalus. There you go. Yes, Daedalus, right? Not D. So Daedalus is this dude who built this labyrinth, and I don't remember why, but he gets locked up in this tower, right? And he's in there with his son. And his son's name is Icarus. Maybe y'all know the story of Icarus. And they're like, you know what? We're going to get out of this tower. We're going to fly over the ocean with wings like a bird out of these special contraptions I'm going to make, and we're going to escape in victory. And so he builds these wings that are stuck together with feathers and wax, and they get out there and start flying, and it's beautiful. And he's like, whoa, like a scene from a movie, and they're just flying. And they're like, man, victory is about to be ours. But then Icarus is like, man, these wings are sick, and loses track of what he's doing, starts flying too close to the sun, and Daedalus is like, bro, stop it, son. The wax is gonna melt if you get too hot. And the sun is not paying no attention, and he's just flying to the sun. The wings melt. He falls.
Icarus
he dies.
is not paying attention.
Right.
Yes, the sun isn't paying attention.
Oh yeah, the S-O-N, not S. Yeah, the sun is not paying attention. It's just like
Cooking
whoa. No regard. No hesitation.
Daedalus looks up
Just
at the sun.
frying 'em.
You couldn't have turned some rays away.
You getting this ultraviolet smackdown.
He goes it back against the sun.
Okay, I have to move ahead with this story. My bad for that. Icarus, not the sun, like the celestial.
Yes.
All right.
Body.
So, yes. So the wings melt. He falls to his death. Icarus does, the child of Daedalus.
Yes.
And Daedalus is like, no, you doofus. And he didn't say that. But so
Really?
So now he's like, man, what reason even is there to go to freedom if I can't have freedom with my son? You know, he's dead. I've lost him. I'm flying back to this datgum tower where I belong in solitude and misery. Now, some time goes by. I don't know how, but his nephew is now with him in the tower. And he's just looking at him spitefully. And he has all this hatred towards the world around him because of what happened with Icarus. And so he's just got this view toward people that's messed up, and everything is messed up because he never let go of that one instance that happened, and he's angry at literally everything. He's angry in general. He just allowed himself to get twisted in the heart over the years. So then they're just chilling, talking. He's not paying attention to what his nephew's saying. And he designs this little fancy little beetle thing or whatever, some kind of flying metal object. And he sends it off and he's like, hey, nephew, go catch it. And it flies off of the edge of the thing, and the nephew goes to catch it and falls to his death off the tower. And Daedalus was like, yep, that was his plan the whole time.
Yeah.
That was a crazy sidebar. I hope you enjoyed the story. I definitely told it all kinds of wrong, but the important parts were right. But yeah, because of the event that he was never able to let go, he took an uninvolved person's life away. And that's happened with like people go out and commit mass acts of violence and just start shooting up workplaces and schools or bombing places over unrelated issues,
Right.
because of their anger towards something that doesn't even have to do with the rest of the world, that they were unable to settle within themselves, and it only grew over time.
Yeah. And that's bitterness. Hopefully we've conveyed to you why we think lingering and bitterness are their own separate things under the vast umbrella of the term perpetual thought.
Dang.
I'm not going to whisper it. Perpetual thought.
Perpetual thought. Now, that could be a merch design.
Perpetual thought.
That's
Absolutely
just it.
Not.
Just perpetual thought, but like with some kind of like ambient font.
All right.
And then people who see you wear it, they're going to think it's like some deep thing. It's not.
It is, though.
It is, though, because you know what? I couldn't think of anything.
But I feel like but we're talking about perpetual thought as a bad thing.
Yeah.
I want to wear that. I want rocking that.
But
It's like
as
having
humans, we are in a state
depression,
of perpetual
depression,
thought
depression.
constantly throughout life.
torment in a nice,
No. Are we going to explain that? Maybe
Absolutely not.
All right.
You can.
No. All right. Y'all don't listen to your demons.
Right.
Moral of the story.
Let God define what you're supposed to do.
Speaking of God defining things, let us look into the Word of God for some closing remarks on these subjects. Just a few little scriptures.
All right. I'll read the first one.
Bet.
And this one is more relating to perpetual thought. It's 2 Corinthians 10:5. Casting down arguments and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, bringing every thought into captivity to the obedience of Christ.
Break that down for me, brother.
All right. Now, casting down arguments and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, that is things that try to take the place of God. Yeah? Things that try to supersede what God has already spoken, what he has already said is true. So that can be what's true about yourself. So God has already designed you. He made you in his image, and he loves you.
And
You
you're
feel me?
beautiful.
Yeah, or handsome.
Not like that. Oh my gosh. Oh, you're beautiful like something to behold. Not like kind of bad though.
Thank you. Who's that, Frogs?
Don't look that up. All right. Anyway. Good, but proceed. Yes, but I actually do want to reinstate that in the sight of God, you are worthy and beautiful and all that stuff. Well crafted.
Yeah. So
Beautifully made.
that can be casting down something that exalts itself against what God has already said. It could be he thinks the same of others. So if you have these thoughts against other people, that they are this, they are that, you are now holding up an argument that exalts itself against God's knowledge. Yeah? So,
Yeah.
nah, actually, they're not beautiful, or they're not made in God's image. They suck, actually. You are now defying what God said.
Or the Bible says you should love your wife. Then you like, I don't really need to love my wife, because
if you really think about it, God loves her, and that should be enough.
yeah, or something like that, and then you will get yourself into some trouble.
Right, wildin'. All right. Sorry, I'm gonna go back up to our examples here so we can make it real to y'all. Paranoia regarding observed behaviors. This one is a little bit more of a personal thought. Like, it's more like up to your discretion how you want to define this. But it's like, for me, I feel like paranoia and like answering questions about other people, making assumptions is to a degree. Now, this is a bit, it's not a concrete science, if you will, but this can be akin to lying to yourself or lying in general, believing what is not true, or deceiving yourself and using whatever that information is as false witness, bearing false witness against your neighbor. You're like, yeah, actually, they don't like pineapple on pizza. You have just bored. False witness. It's over.
Yeah.
Obviously, things more serious than that. But yeah, you're allowing yourself to create these narratives against somebody, and that's not good. Bringing every thought into captivity to the obedience of Christ is basically just like, before you just think something, go like, yep, think it, and then think about it again in the mindset of someone who believes in God, or in the mindset of what would the Lord think of these thoughts? Mm-hmm. You feel me? So it's, like with the infatuation thing, your 30 kids and your Bermuda wedding in the winter or summer.
Hey,
think about it again and think, are these thoughts productive towards what God has defined marriage to be? Mm-hmm. What God's plan is for me? Am I, you know what I mean? Just, these answers are different for every person. Even the questions that you got to ask yourself are different for everyone. Right. So,
and then our mandate in the obedience of Christ is to imitate his character and his love and forgiveness. And as regular people, we're not going to hit that right on the mark, but it's our job to get as close as possible. And so if Josh Danke made a face at you when you're asking about the details of his party, and you're thinking of doing all kinds of crazy stuff, you're thinking of disrespecting him in front of his family and a bunch of other different stuff like that. That was a random example, but think about, like,
who's Josh Danke's family, bro?
The Dankes.
The Dankes.
Hallelujah. Anyway,
turn that off.
But yeah. Think about it. Make sure you're doing what you should do as a Christian before you just do stuff. And yeah. And now this one, more on the subject of bitterness.
Yeah, allow yourself to be bitter.
Bitter is from Ephesians 4, verses 26 through 27. This is the New King James Version.
Yeah. Oh, the last one was also New King James. I didn't say that. It's my favorite version.
I need to stop doing that. No. All right. Anyway, it says, "Be angry and do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your wrath, nor give place to the devil." Now,
I like this verse.
The first two words of this are "be angry." Do not take this and say, "Oh, I ain't mad enough today. I need to turn up the heat." Now, I hope nobody would have ever even thought of that. But anyway, but no, the reality is that everyone says offenses will come. There are people in your life that are going to make you mad. Right. Situations that will make you upset, no doubt.
You can be upset.
Yeah,
that's basically what the verse is saying.
It's not saying become a robot, delete your emotions. Shout out episode 9, I believe.
Yes.
However, do not sin. That means you're in control of your actions and words. If you need to take you a little breather and just be
like them 3 days that we were talking about where they backhanded you and you see him 3 days later, like,
right.
Hold on. I'll come back to you, but I will not sin by backhanding you back.
Right. Yeah. So take some time, to think about the things that you're going to do. And then it says, do not let the sun go down on your wrath. Now, I don't think this literally means you can't be mad about something for more than a day.
Yeah, don't go to bed mad. I don't know if that's what that means,
but it is good practice. I think about this verse pretty often whenever things are upsetting. And not that things are upsetting all the time, but when things are upsetting, this verse comes to mind. And it really is a thing. Like, I think in episode 37, Tamaya was talking about how it's weird if some boy or some girl that you're not married to is the last thing on your mind before you go to bed or the first thing on your mind when you wake up. It's because something that you don't want to have an important place in your life, like something that doesn't have the authority, shouldn't have the authority to take control over your life, should not be in that place. So like if you're mad because Josh Danke flipped you off on the other side of the road.
He be flipping people off.
Hey, bro, he be doing everything. Josh Danke is
an enigma.
Dude. Yep. Anyway,
did we already say his middle name in one of these episodes?
No, I don't think so. Josh Nathaniel Denke.
I think we did. Nobody remembers. Josh Enigma Dinky.
I don't like that.
Yeah, me either.
All right. Anyway, but
Moving on.
it is good to put those thoughts to bed before you go to bed, so that they're not wrestling on you, bro. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but if you can put your mind to peace, then you'll wake up in a better frame of mind. Maybe you'll have a decision to make or something, and you won't be so polluted by the angry, raging thoughts that say punch and kill everybody right now.
Word.
And then
yeah.
oh, go ahead.
No.
Then at the end, nor give place to the devil. I think letting the sun go down on your wrath and just overall being like a slave to your anger or the things that are over you is giving place to the devil, because it's not in a person's natural nature. That's redundant to go blow up their workplace because somebody insulted them. But I think you be giving some place to the devil when you allow the offense to sit on your mind for so long that it can simmer into something like that. So yeah.
Facts. I think that's it. Don't let the sun go down in your wrath. Yeah. Don't go to bed angry. That doesn't mean, before you go to bed, I forget it. I forget everything. And then you see him, pretend like nothing happened. That's not good. Because the Bible also says, and I don't know the verse off top, but I know the verse, like the words, where it says, if your brother sins against you, go and speak with your brother. Go and confront them, whatever. Go talk to them. You feel me? So it's not like you're mad, but once you go to bed, you can't be mad anymore. Forget about everything they've done. You do have to. The Bible says to talk about it. The Bible says to make sure you discuss it with them, and let things be out in the open. You don't want to harbor bitterness because you don't want to talk about it, or you just want to be mad and then. Yeah, I'm not talking to them. They're not my friend anymore. I can't even believe that they would ever do such a thing. That's stupid. So yeah,
some quick advice that I thought was stupid the first time I heard it. Somebody said, if you're angry with someone or bitter against someone and you can't shake it, you should pray for them. I'm like, what the heck are you talking about? But if you are a Christian, and you at any level of relationship with God, whether you just started or you've been in a game or whatever.
It's not a game, but you would get what you're saying. Yeah, but I have to say that, bro.
Got to. Word up. But yeah, and you start to pray for someone because you kind of humble yourself before God. You don't just be, I don't know, like being your own God and saying that everything you do is right. So you enter into a level of submission, not to the person that hurts you, but to God. And while you're talking to God, you can be honest, like, man, I don't know how I will get over this offense, or I just don't understand why they would do that to me. But God, help me to go about this with a right heart. And I pray that you would help them to whatever it is that you want with this person, and not like, I hope you would help them to understand how wrong they are or whatever. But maybe if what they did to you, like maybe your uncle sent you off of a tower because he was bitter at the world, and you could pray that God would soften your uncle's heart a little bit so that the life wouldn't be so bad for him that he wants to send his nephew off a tower. All right. Moving on to the conclusion.
The closing
wrap
remarks. Yeah, so this is the most important part of the episode. This is a pretty long one. This is a longer one.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I guess it's about average, but it just feels long. Yes, perpetual thought. You may be living your life, and maybe you've already allowed bitterness to cause you to do something that you're less than proud of, you know, or you have these thoughts in your mind, unforgiveness. You can't accept a sorry, You don't want to say sorry. Because sometimes you're bitter, but it's your fault. We didn't mention that a whole bunch, but sometimes you're bitter, but it's really you who needs to be doing all the apologizing. But, that's for another day. Or maybe you're lingering. You're letting just these random questions, thoughts in your mind permeate and become something more than what they should have ever been. Becoming a reason for you to sin, essentially. A lot of times they give you some kind of validation for, this and that. I've been thinking about this for a while, and I really think this is the right thing to do. Which it probably isn't, like for our examples, like when we're talking about, you're thinking about what the single life would be like and you're married and you're like, I have to. What if I never get another chance again? I'm locked into this marriage stuff. Why can't I? Look, bro, some people want to be married so bad and you are taking it for granted, bro.
Dang.
But that's all. That's life.
Dang.
And that's crazy. And that's you allowing perpetual thoughts to linger, the lingering part, not the bitterness part, and cause you to sin. In the same way, where we're talking about the infatuation, where you're going to go and fornicate with this individual because you have this idea in your mind that, but, it's only this now. Later, it'll become something real. Later, we'll get it right. Whatever.
Later, we'll buy that Barbie dream house.
Yeah, and it never happens. So, obviously, these things can weigh on your mind. These things can be tormentuous, if you will, even going to where you let the words of others linger, like we were talking about with the unfortunate story of the artist,
right,
who was on the forums. She was posting her art and whatnot. And in that, if you don't have a relationship with God, if you don't have an understanding of who you are in God's eyes and his image, or what his plans are for your life, one, it can cause you to go down a dark road, and you can, do unfortunate things to yourself and to others as a result, or it can cause you to, I guess I covered it with what I just said. So
Bars.
What do? How do you get a relationship with God?
Well, like we said early on in this episode, God is not ever inaccessible to anybody who wants to access him.
Right.
At all. Whether you know nothing or whatever. It doesn't matter. There's no limitation on it. As long as you are willing to humble yourself before God, he's right there.
Right there.
Right there. So, on that subject, if you would like to get to know God, if you would like to invite him into your life, even just for a free trial.
What?
Because look, some people start, in a kind of place of skepticism, and you don't know what you're getting yourself into necessarily.
Well, yeah, but
then once they see, like, once you all right, I'm only gonna adopt this dog for a minute. I'm not even gonna like this dog for real. And then, you know what I'm saying? Then you become best friends with the dog or whatever. Now, this is a completely different type of scenario, but from the outside looking in, you could be skeptical. But if you're willing to try it for a little bit, you might be glad you decided to try it for a little bit, because it carries on. You will carry on.
I feel like that may relate to the way you think about it. So definitely, don't brush it off. Whatever it is that's going through your mind right now, that's real, and you should consider it and think about it. And I think that's the free trial. Yeah. But once you come to the point where you want to make a decision, you can't make a decision and still be skeptical. That's not going to work. We say it in every episode where we have a prayer. You can't say the prayer but not really mean what you're saying.
Yes, this is the truth.
That doesn't work. So, when we lead you in this prayer, mean it with all your heart.
Yeah, just speak with the understanding that somebody who is God is listening.
Yeah,
and it's not any other kind of other convoluted thing.
Right. the benefit of being here on this digital platform is that if you're not sure if you mean it, you can literally listen to the whole prayer first and go, yeah, I want to say that. Go back.
Scroll back. Yep.
You know, it's not like, dang, I already heard it. I scroll back. God's not listening anymore. He is.
Anytime that you want. That's a resource that will be available for all time.
For all time. Until time is no more. Dang.
That's deep.
That was crazy.
Let us pray, y'all. If you would like to, we're going to go ahead and start. You can go ahead and repeat after me. Dear God, I thank you for this day, and I thank you for my opportunity to live. I recognize that I'm not close to you, and I don't have a relationship with you, but I want to. I pray that you would set me free from the bondage of sin, and by the blood of Jesus Christ, that I would be set free. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
It's all up from there.
Oh yeah. You on the road to riches.
From rags to riches. Do you ever play that game on Flash on the computer? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
All right. They have like them educational games, and you have to like answer the right question about mitosis or something until you get $1 billion. But if you don't answer the ones in a row, then you get rags. Rags, I say. 13 cents instead of $240 million.
Never heard of that before.
Isaiah ain't be getting that real fun middle school education, bro.
When I was
telling
in middle
you.
school, the internet was still getting started.
Shout out to all my 1900s and slightly out of that category homies.
Yeah, I was born before YouTube existed. Some of y'all don't know what life without YouTube is like.
Some people are listening like, man, I was born before bottled water. Yup, there it is. I was born before sliced bread.
Sliced bread. I was born before people sliced bread.
Yup, I was born before
time itself.
Okay, not that. I mean,
all right. We've been here. We've taken up almost 2 hours of your time.
Somebody's fighting for their life, trying to stay awake, listening for this secret word or something.
I know.
I commend you. This clap is for you, man. Woman.
Yeah. Also,
what's the secret word?
Some of y'all don't even be commenting, so you'll hear the secret word for what? You listen this far
Dang,
for what?
That's so true. The secret word is there for you to comment it, bro. You're supposed to like inconspicuously slide it into what you're saying, man.
All right. What is our secret word?
Secret word is
something relating to what we've already been talking about.
I was thinking of the word steal.
Steal?
Yep. Well, let it be steal, like taking things away.
Steal, like
without
steal
right
yourself for something.
Yeah, like STEEL, Man of Steel, Superman, whatever.
Yeah.
Steal. Spell it however you would like, as long as it's correct, and do something funny with it. Don't make it obvious that everyone can see. And as we go back through the comments, we'll know that you're a real one. You will get recognition.
Yeah. If you're driving back from conference, if you drove to conference, now I guess it's too late to tell you now's the time to listen to this episode. But if you're listening to this, you made the right decision.
Hey,
you're doing the right thing. You're trying to be entertained on your car ride back. This is where you should be.
If you're driving and you're feeling tired, please do what you need to do. Keep your eyes open
and take a rest,
bro.
It's legal. Sleep.
They say driving sleepy is almost as bad or as bad as driving drunk. So
that's true. They do say that.
Take care of yourself. Switch drivers if you need to. If you got kids, put them on the drive. Man, just
teach them how to drive.
Let them drive down. All right. So this has been episode 41.
Yeah, we love y'all.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys like this topic. Well, I know you did.
Because you're here still.
Because you're here at the very end. And also because it's a good topic. You know?
Hallelujah.
Everyone deals with. Put your thoughts in the comments. And We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Peace.